You're watching the 2025 SCAC Fall Media Days. Today we're taking a look at the Centenary College football program. The Gents will be led once again as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Byron Dawson, along with leadership from juniors Alexander Hamilton and DeQuavion Lemons. And Coach DeQuavion Alexander, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us, Russell.
Coach, we'll open things up with you coming off your first full varsity season as this program returns to campus and to Shreveport. An outstanding year last year in the SCAC, going 4-6 overall, 4-4 in league play, finishing third in the conference standings. So many strides in growth with this program over last season. I'm interested, what stood out to you the most about the growth and the success from last season, and how, did that success and growth and what you learned help sort of set up the foundation for the offseason coming into the preseason?
We stress all the time that progress is a process. And, being a first-year team playing varsity, we had growing pains, but we also had growing gains. And we looked at every situation and we learned from it. It was our first time through. And so, the thing that excites me the most about this year is that we're bringing back some older guys that have been here 2-3 years, to have that big brother, that veteran experience. I think that's probably the greatest teacher in life, is having experience. And so I'm excited about bringing back great leaders like the young men behind me who have experience that can help us in those growing pains.
Alexander, being a captain and a leader of the offensive line is a big responsibility. How does that role what does that role, I should say, mean to you personally? And just how excited are you to be back here at the start of a new season and heading into this 2025 campaign?
It means a lot to me personally. When I was coming here, I knew that I wanted to be a leader like I was, in high school. I knew that's kind of what I felt always I was just a good leader. And I felt like I have a good way of communicating with our guys. We have a very strong culture. I would personally say that, the offensive line is probably the tightest group on the team, and we make sure that, and there is no like hierarchy system with us, which makes it very, very good for growing. Everybody can tell everyone something. And that means the world to me, because it's like I have 5 brothers and we all are in sync all the time.
DeQuavion, you're coming off of an outstanding season a year ago, in which you earned first team All-SCAC honors. Coming into this year, named a preseason Division III All-American as well. What did those accolades mean to you personally, and how do you sort of continue to live up to that standard that you've set with the hard work that you've put in coming into this season?
Those accolades, really, it's a real honor to achieve. It just represents how far I came, honestly, and with the technique that I developing still, I feel like I still could get better. So this up and coming season, I'm going to be focusing on tightening up the technique, make less mistakes, make more plays.
Coach, one of the themes I feel like has really stuck out to me as we've talked about this program over the last couple of years is kind of the idea of growth and building. And from your standpoint, I'm just sort of intrigued. What is the support of Centenary and the Shreveport communities meant in terms of kind of the growth of this young team? And, what's your favorite part about being on the sidelines for one of those home contests right there on your campus in Shreveport?
Well, Centenary has a rich tradition, back up to the late 40s. It was one of the top programs in the country. It was 3-1 versus Louisiana State University. We beat A&M and Texas Tech and Ole Miss. And so, to have that to be dormant for over 70 years and to bring it back, there's so many people that are just so excited about having football here. When you go in the grocery store, you're around town. The thing that makes me feel the happiest is to hear people say, our team. You represent our team, and that shows that our city is taking ownership. And we agree with that. That's why Shreveport is right there on the front of our jerseys. And so we want to not only connect our college campus, but we want to connect the community to the great game of football. And we know football is one of the greatest unifiers we have right now in our state and country. It brings people together every Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And so we just want to be a part of that in this great place we call Shreveport. Bossier, and we love it, and it's so exciting to get the support from the locals.
Alexander last year obviously was an outstanding season from this team, and an exciting year in this first season back as a varsity program, first season back of SCAC football since 2016. And we look ahead to this year, and the SCAC introduces the championship series weekend, a unique opportunity in Division III, bringing all 6 teams together there at War Memorial Stadium in Arkansas for a celebration of SCAC football. And I'm just interested, with that kind of on the horizon, is that something that's added a little juice as the season has gotten underway? Is that something this team is talking about? And what would it mean for this group to have an opportunity to play in that SCAC championship, that 1-2 game there at the end of the year?
The conversations around the team are definitely positive. We look at it as a great way to be competitive, and who wouldn't love a great competition amongst great schools in a great conference? So I think it'll be very fun, and we definitely look forward to the game.
DeQuavion, this is a defensive unit that last year had a tenacity to it that was really special when you look across the board in the SCAC. 10 fumble recoveries, most in the league, 15 interceptions. This team was a ball hawking group that got the ball back to its offense regularly. What is the mindset from a unit that tries to force those types of turnovers, and how do you continue as a defensive group, heading into this season to keep that production from a turnover standpoint going?
Our mindset is really just to stick together. Like, we depend on each other as a unit, so everybody has to do their job for us to just make plays. Everybody has to come together, do their job, and the rest comes together.
Coach, what have you seen of kind of the biggest differences just, in terms of the culture and the locker room vibes from this year's squad comparative to last year's team, and just the growth that you've noticed in particular from year 1 to year 2?
Well, you just see more chemistry. You spend more time together. Guys get to know each other better. They're in a groove when it comes to college life, and so you see that brotherhood growth, and that's very big in the game of football. This is the ultimate team sport, and so your success, it comes down to the person that's next to you. And so knowing that we're all links in a chain, and we can't have weak links. We gotta be strong. Each and every guy has to do their job. And so to see guys get along and connect and just see the friendships that are building, those are things that you're most proud of as a coach.
And finally, as we wrap up with our 2 student athletes, Alexander and DeQuavion, when peers and classmates across campus and fans and supporters of this program hear Centenary football, what do you hope that they associate with when they hear that? And just, for your 2 respective units on the offensive and defensive side, what are some goals that those groups have, going into this 2025 year?
I would definitely say around campus, when people think of the offense as a whole, I want them to have an idea of an explosive offense, that's going to drive down the field and get the job done. But an offense that's also ready to play the long game, be gritty, go for those long drives.
Yeah, and as a defense, I would want everybody to see us as like hunting dogs. We were ready to go hunt, make plays, just eat.
Finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, just giving you the last word, setting the table for our fans and supporters of the Centenary football program heading into this new 2025 season. What have we not talked about? What are you excited about that you want this group to know as we get the table set for the opener here in a couple of weeks?
Football season is a culmination of year-round training, planning, recruiting, and it all comes together for just a handful of games. So it's very exciting. Each game are great moments in time, and it's bragging rights forever. And so each one of these moments will be special. We have the utmost respect for the great teams in our conference, and we know we're going to have to bring our A game each and every week. And we're so proud to be a part of such a first-class conference, great leaders at all these schools. And we can just hope that we can go out and represent at a high level with high-character young men that go out and play hard for 60 minutes.
Centenary College head football coach Byron Dawson, along with leadership from Alexander Hamilton and DeQuavion Lemons. Head coach Dawson and the Gents will open up the 2025 campaign when they host Westgate Christian on September 6th. Coach, Alexander, DeQuavion, thanks so much for your time today. Best of luck as you march forward throughout the rest of the 2025 season.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.